Tangem versus Ledger and Trezor, which one is actually safer? I'm going to compare the risks with both wallet types. I'll show you where people actually lose their crypto, because most people think hacks are the biggest threat, but the numbers show something completely different. Quick thing before we start, I'm not saying any of this will happen. We're just looking at what the risks actually are, what's happened before, and what the data shows. Every wallet has trade-offs, but having a cold wallet, no matter which one, is a lot more secure. Also, make sure to leave your comment if you think I missed something or if you see things differently. We're all just trying to stay safe here, so let's continue helping each other. Let's start with how do people actually lose their crypto? Reports from companies like Chain Analysis show most losses come from user mistakes and not hackers. And they are right, hackers that manage to exploit a vulnerability where you have done nothing wrong and the hacker still gets away with your crypto. That's actually very rare for regular users that use basic security. But the biggest category of losses is when users are getting tricked into giving up their information. So we're talking about phishing emails, fake websites, fake SMSs. Over 150,000 wallets were drained in this way in 2025, and this biggest category, getting tricked, ties back to how certain wallets work. Let me explain. Let's talk about the risks with seed phrase wallets like Ledger and Trezor. Seed phrases are the 24 random word list that we get when we set up one of these wallets. They give us access to our private key and to our funds. If we lose our wallet device, we just get a new one, enter the 24 words, and we get back access to our funds. That's why seed phrases are the main target for scammers. They focus on users making errors to trick them into sharing their seed phrases. The issue is that the concept of seed phrases is too confusing, mainly for beginners. So keep in mind, I'm not saying these wallets are unsafe, they are safe. But the way seed phrases work, mixed with how people are on the internet, it's not foolproof. Besides these seed phrase issues, there's another risk with these wallets, it's firmware updates. That's when the company behind each wallet wants to update the device's firmware. That is a risk because if someone at those companies get hacked, hackers have the ability to put their code into everyone's wallets through these updates, even if you did everything right. And this has happened. Late 2023, the Ledger supply chain attack, a former Ledger employee got phished and hackers pushed bad code into the Ledger Connect kit, which resulted in at least $600,000 being drained from users. So the Ledger devices were not directly hacked, but the surrounding software was. Now let's take a look at Tangem. First what it avoids, then the risk it has. Since we were just talking about updatable firmware, Tangem's card wallets can't be updated, so they simply avoid that backdoor update risk. And when it comes to seed phrases, Tangem allow users to set up the wallet and either take the seed phrase route, just like the other wallets, or they can choose the seedless route, which is what Tangem recommends, where the user doesn't even get a seed phrase. The private key is stored inside the 2 or the 3 physical cards themselves, and it's up to the user to keep these cards stored separately and safe. So Tangem makes it so that the user doesn't even have the seed phrase words, the user can't even make these user errors. But Tangem has its own risks. The first risk is the obvious one, that the user not only loses one card, but also loses the second card and the third card. And if you have turned on the PIN code security feature, that you also lose your PIN code. The second risk is blind signing. There is no screen on these cards, so when we make transactions using our mobile phone, the Tangem app, the details are only shown on the phone, and you need to trust they are accurate. But theoretically, if your phone is hacked, you have accidentally downloaded viruses, so a hacker watches and controls your mobile when you're about to make a transaction, that they then swap and show you a fake overlay screen whilst pasting in their own wallet address in the background, and you sign with your card and you unknowingly send your crypto funds to the hacker. This scenario has never happened so far with any Tangem user, and as you can probably understand, it's very difficult to pull this off, and Tangem has even dedicated security features against this. But these kind of hacks do happen to hot wallets like MetaMask, so theoretically it could happen, but the risk is extremely small here. The third risk is the tearing attack. Ledger's security team showed in 2025 that they found a way to brute force the PIN code with physical access to a Tangem wallet card, eventually cracking easy 4-digit PIN codes in just an hour. But if you just then have an 8-digit PIN code, that would take 460 days to crack. And also, this equipment is not something every thief has at home, so this risk is also extremely small and can be avoided with just an 8-digit PIN code. So let's put these risks side by side. side. With seed phrase wallets like Ledger and Trezor, the risk is split in two places. Part of the risk sits with the company. Firmware issues are a constant thing in the background that have happened before, even if you as a user do everything right. I have to give it to Trezor here that have open source code where the community can validate and check the code to see that nothing is wrong with it. The other part of the risk sits with you managing that seed phrase correctly, that you don't get exploited or scammed by clicking random links and giving away your seed phrase. And when you look at the numbers where people are actually losing their funds, the seed phrase category is huge. We're talking 80 to 90% of user losses coming from mistakes tied to how confusing seed phrases are to manage. Having a Tangem wallet in seedless mode cuts out almost all of that seed phrase risk completely. The risk instead shifts over to your phone, that you don't get it full of viruses leading to you getting remotely hacked, taking your funds, which has never happened so far, but it's better to stay safe. Also, the risks shift to you keeping your physical cards safe, but that also goes for all self-storage types. Both of these risks makes up a tiny percent of how users actually lose crypto. So when you just compare the numbers, using the Tangem wallet avoids so many user mistakes and can maybe be between 5 to 10 times safer by just comparing how people lose crypto today. If you got value from this video, consider helping me with a like as it helps me out a lot.